let's talk a bit more. I said there about the racism there, which and the kind of council state depicted in the film is the one that you grew up in.
Yeah.
First of all, when you were growing up, was there much racism in you lived in Hackney?
Hackney, yeah, Hackney Dawson.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, no. I mean, where we were, there wasn't. Not when I was growing up, anyway. There wasn't so much what you call like an ethnic minority. There was about sort of equal amounts of everybody, and a lot of families are kind of interracial families. They're, you know, half of my family are mixed race, and it was kind of just everybody just was so busy surviving and just trying to get through life and pay the bills. And there's lots of, you know, domestic violence and lots of, you know, bad things going on around there. And that was the last thing on anyone's mind. If anything, everyone just used to pull together, which sort of sounds ideal, but we had other problems. That wasn't one of our problems. Not that I came across anyway.
No. Speaking of that domestic violence, of course, you've talked to me before on this show about what your mother went through with your father.
Yeah.
And she's since, indeed, last time you were on the show, she's written a best-selling book about the abuse that she received.
As a child.
So, as a child. But did that, first of all, reading that book, what were your feelings, seeing your mother so literally exposed as she would be telling that story?
Yeah, I mean, she spoke to me before she even thought about sending the book to the publishers, and she sent it under a different name, under her married name, Jenny Tomlin. Actually, she did it under J. Tomlin. I think she was inspired by J.K. Rowling and the Harry Potter book. She thought, you know, I'll do that, it's got a ring to it. But I think that she was worried about me and worried about compromising me or me being embarrassed. And I just said, Mum, you know, you've got your own story to tell and your own life, and you're entitled to do that. And if you feel like this is something you want to do and you can help, you know, children are innocent and you can't... it's still something that's not talked about.
Yes.
It's still something that makes people uncomfortable. But the more people talk about it and the more people address it, the more children will be helped.
Yes.
It is still going on.
And what's extraordinary about your mother's story, and indeed your story too, is that she married an abusive man.
Yeah.
And you lived on the run, literally, because your father was prevented from coming to see you, but did, nonetheless, sort you out. So you literally lived like nomads. You know?
Yeah, we did. We were gypsies. We moved everywhere. We had panic buttons. And my mum tried so hard to not go for that destructive relationship. And when she first met him, he wasn't like that. But certain things happened, he changed, and he did become abusive. And I think that her main priority was just protecting me. And I think she felt sad because he was obsessed with her, but he didn't, you know, love me, he wasn't interested in me. And as a result, I was sometimes used to hurt her because he knew I was the closest thing to her. And I just think that...
in what way do you mean that? How?
Well, you know, he kind of, you know, my first memory of my dad is him hanging me over a balcony by my ankles. And that's the first memory. I was about 2. And, you know, he's got, obviously, you know, he had a lot of problems. And you know, at the end of the day, though, my mum says a very true thing. She says, you know, you can walk around and use it as an excuse to become a victim. You don't have to be a victim. It's, you know, it's an attitude that you give out, and people can treat you like that. You have to choose to, you know, be the victor, not the victim. And that's what, you know, I decided to do. And she was the one who said, you know, go for your dreams, do what you want to do. Don't use it as an excuse to do nothing.
So in a sense, what you decided to do was to escape from that, wasn't it? I mean, that's what showbiz was about, I suppose, standing on a stage being somebody else.
Well, yeah, definitely. and also just to, you know, it looks so safe when things are glossy and, you know, the colours are so vivid and everybody looks so perfect. I know that, you know, the business is not perfect, but to be able to make something that looks perfect every day, I thought, well, that's for me. That's what I'd like to do. That's my escapism.
Has it had any kind of effect on you, though, as a person? I mean, any long-term effect? I mean, for instance, I mean, you're being in that kind of relationship with a father who didn't love you. Has it affected your attitude toward men, for instance? I mean, do you feel this?
I think it could have done, but I think because my mum was such a strong woman, and because she is very open, and she's, you know, she's a very vivacious woman. She's been quite wild. There's not anything I can't talk to her about, and we deliberately, you know, we did speak about the sort of men that I would go for, and I've had failed relationships, but it's not been because of anything to do with my dad so much. I mean, obviously there's that gap there, and you do have that sadness there. But you do also think, well, that's not a man's job, you know, a lover in my life. That's not his job to fulfil that sadness.
No.
But at the same time, he does need to take it on board.
Yes.
And I mean, there was one relationship where I thought, uh-oh, you're starting to be kind of like my dad. I've got to walk away, and it broke my heart, but I did. I walked away, and so. You know, knowledge is power, as they say, and
yeah,
I walked away.
In that sense, it's a useful experience. Not a useful experience, but I mean, you were able to actually see what's coming, perhaps, as you did in that sense.
Yeah, you sense certain things, and you just sort of think, you know, you see the signs.
Yes. Well, next up, so what's happening next?
So, next, I'm going to be doing a new album. I'm going to be doing some fabulous campus Christmas songs.
Campus Christmas?
Campus Christmas. I thought that would be right for tonight. And there was a link there somewhere. Weak link, but there you go. No, I'm going to do a new album, really sort of uplifting disco classics, kind of like a modern Donna Summer thing, because I did a song on the radio, I did a cover of her song, and it did so phenomenally well that I thought I'm going to do that again. Also, the best of the ballads. I've got some TV stuff that I want to do, and they're also talking about turning my mum's book into a film.
Are they?
Yes.
And what do you mean in that?
I would want to play my grandmother.
Your grandma?
Yeah.
Because you said it's about your mum as a child.
Yes.
So, yes.
And she was a very weak woman.
Your grandma?
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. And I think as well, it's easy to walk away now from certain situations, but back then it wasn't easy to walk away.
It wasn't.
No, and a lot of people said to me, but would you be able to distance yourself and do the part? And I just think because I would so want the story to be told, you know, as truthfully as possible, I'd want to do the part justice, and I'll audition with everybody else, and if they think I'm the best person, hopefully I'll do the job for her.
Oh, right, good on you.
Yeah.
OK, and your English harem goes out
yes, 27th. On the 27th.
That's right.
Yes.
And it's well worth the look. I enjoyed it
definitely is.
very much indeed.
Yeah.
Martine McCutcheon, thank you very much indeed.
Thank
Martine
you.
Music now.